we were drawn to focus IEPs weren't cool because the old IEPs weren't working. They weren't meeting the needs of the students, and because classrooms are just changing so much, we really needed to find a way to bring classroom teachers into the process so that it was relevant to them, and this is one way that we chose to do it. And what we found for an access point for teachers was to start by using a class profile just to kind of get to know everybody on the level of diversity, including modified students. How can we make inclusion work? How can it be efficient? How do we get these kids in these rooms and make it meaningful, right? But the idea here is that these kids are a part of a bigger picture. Even though they're in the room, they're not on this separate kind of side program. Their program is within the profile of this class. And so I think that if we can get teachers to see that their students are diverse, all of them, not just these two modified kids in the corner, but that they're all diverse and that we're all, they all have their strengths and they all have their stretches and they all have these different pieces of this program. I think that one way that we can hook teachers into understanding that diversity piece is through the class profile, because it's a tool that they can use to get to know their students in a way that's not so heavily reliant on just the content. Like, there's more than just the content involved. There's basically two big pieces, like there's the interest piece, three big pieces. There's like the student interest, there's the content piece, but then there's also this like processing piece. And I think that the performance-based assessments, the grade 8 one that we do, although we're using a social studies text, the thinking skills and the literacy skills can be applied to any content area. So I think that it's important, if we're going to talk about class profiles, to say, how could we incorporate a performance-based assessment in science? How could we incorporate a performance-based assessment in math? Like, it is one of the bigger pieces of this idea of class profile, because I think a lot of times what gets lost is here's the content, but how are we going to access it? What are the actual thinking skills? And the connection between literacy skills and thinking skills is one that sometimes needs to be more explicit. So part of that class profile is how do you make a performance-based assessment?